Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on March 10th, 2018. If you want to get my game, Decoding the Powerball, to help assist you in picking your own numbers, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at is what I call the game card. Okay, so this represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 6, 13, 19, 36, and 51. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I'll take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 13 red numbers, 13 orange, 17 green, 15 blue, and 11 purple numbers. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here to the right is 209. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far, and these are the color code drawings, okay? So out of this 209 drawings, 113 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 74 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 19 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 3 times out of 209 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number 3 right here, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there's 2 purple numbers, 2 red numbers, and a blue for 3 colors total. Okay, so how I use this is I try to predict what the next number will be. Okay, so we're all going to look at this a little bit different, but for me, I think that this is going to be a 4. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want them to represent 4 colors. Okay, so my overall strategy is to reduce the numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 numbers total. Only 5 can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so again, you can see that that hardly ever do all 5 colors come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this a little bit different, okay? And my guess for this drawing here is that no blue numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no blue numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket with the Power Play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, and if I'm correct in my bet, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? And how this works is the master for each number is up at the very top, okay? And over to the right are the numbers that just came up in the lottery. Again, it was 6, 13, 19, 36, and 51. Okay, so that turns out to be a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what you're going to see here is that there's 7 groups total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons why I broke it down into 5. And the first reason is I could go back in the history really quick. I could say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. Okay, so the other reason is that when I look at how many hits there has been within these 5 drawings, if there's been a lot of hits, then maybe the next 5 drawings won't have so many hits, or vice versa. Okay, so for this drawing here, again, the overall strategy is to reduce the numbers, to eliminate numbers. Okay, so my guess is that no 30 numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. And the reason why is that for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drawings, there's been a 30 number. Okay, so as I look through the history, that's pretty unusual. All right, to have it go 7 times in a row. So I'm just going to guess that no 30 numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. And a couple more things I want to show you is that with the individual numbers, if I want to point out a certain number, like let's say the 11, I could go back in history and see what colors they have been. Okay, so let's say that the 11's in a green right now and it's never come up green. Well, maybe I'll consider the 11 coming up for this drawing, and I'll take that as a winning number. Okay, so that's one way I can use it. Another way is over here, how many groups. You can see that the last drawing had 4 groups to it. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think it's either going to be a 3 or a 5. Okay, I really don't think it's going to be a 4 again. All right, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent either 3 groups or 5 groups. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Well, actually, I'm going to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far, with no blue numbers to it and no 30 numbers to it. Okay, so if I made the correct picks here, and none of these numbers come up that I said weren't going to come up, then I just reduced the odds for myself by a little bit. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy now. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so what I did here is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups. Okay, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerballs come up and they land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so of course this represents the red area, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, because I want as many options as possible. All right, and all these option cards look the same. I use the same 4 colors. It's all red, blue, orange, and green. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so you can see that the red area over here in option card number 1, they represent these numbers here, and in option card number 2, the red area represents these this red area numbers. Okay, this group of numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up, again, were the 6, 13, 19, 36, and 51. Okay, so what I do with this is you can see that the 6 is here in the blue, the 13 is in the blue, okay? The 19 is in the red, and the 36 and 51 are in the orange. Okay, so the one in the red represents that 19. The 2 in the blue represents the 6 and the 13, and the 2 in the orange represent the 36 and the 51. Okay, so you can see that there was no winning numbers in this green area. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and really reduced the odds for myself. Okay, so again, that's why I created 15 option cards to give me as many chances as possible to guess where these zeros are going to be. Okay, so my first guess here is going to be option card number 1, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I did this is because you can see that this is a single blue number, a single blue 0, single blue. Okay, so once in a while you can see that these zeros double up. Okay, so with this green section here, you can see that there's just a bunch of single zeros here. Okay, down here where it doubled up. Okay, so I just think that it's due to double up again. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here, which means that I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I want to get rid of these green numbers, so I wanted to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this as well, as you can see with the last drawing, the 19 came up in this red area, and you can see that there's a 67 here as well. Okay, so what I call this is I call it sharing the square. Okay, so what I do is I keep track of groups of numbers and try to predict whether they're going to come up in the lottery or not come up in the lottery. Okay, so if I decide to get rid of these green numbers, which I'm going to do for this drawing, you can see that the 53 and the 69 share this square right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these numbers as a group, and that group includes the 53 and the 69. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, you can see that the 53 is here and the 69 is over here. Okay, so the reason why I don't have this 53 crammed in with the 69 over here is because of the color code. Okay, so you can see that the 53 is green for this drawing and the 69 is red. So I need some separation. Okay, so again, if I'm going to get rid of all these numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 53 and the 69 and with every one of these over here as a group. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right, and you can see that all these numbers are gone now, including the 53. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is going to be option card number 9, no red numbers. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards for you to choose from. Okay, so again, here I am at option card number 9. You can see that there's a bunch of single zeros here, blue marks. Okay, and again, I just think that it's due to double up. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers off of the game card, just because I don't think they're going to be coming up in the lottery. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1. I have 2 more picks that I want to make. And my next one is option card number 11, no red numbers. So here I am again with a bunch of single blue marks. Okay. And I just think that it's due to double up. So we'll see what happens. Okay. So again, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't think that any of these red numbers are going to come up in the lottery, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I like to show you step by step on how I use it. Okay, so if you don't agree with me about the red numbers, oops, I'm sorry, I'm going to scroll back. If you don't agree with me about the red numbers, okay, and you think that one of these red numbers are going to come up, then which one is it? You know? So that's how you can use it. You can say, Tom, I disagree with you. I think there will be a hit here. I'm not sure which one it is yet, but I think there will be a hit. Okay? And so on and so forth. So my next pick, my last pick is going to be option card 14, no green numbers. Okay? And it's just one of those things where I looked at it and I just think that there's going to be two doubled zeros here in a row. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this a little bit different. Okay, but for me, I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up in the next drawing, so I want to get rid of them. So again, I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Sorry, having a little problems with my mouse here. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss for group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works is I'm going to point out this red area right here. Okay, so I keep the stats down here for the red, and I'm just going to blow this up a little bit. Okay, so you can see that's 0 here. That means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. And of course, this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. Okay, so here it is again with the 65. That shares the square with the 25. Okay, so you look at this and you can see that there's 8 squares, but it actually represents 9 numbers as a group. Okay, so one more thing that I want to show you is you can see that this is blue and this is red. Okay, so here's where I like to keep track of every 5 drawings like this, okay, because it shows me a majority. Okay, so if there's 3 or more misses or 3 or more zeros, I color this blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so as I go through the history of things, okay, you can see that you can see a lot of red, which means hot, so it's very, very hot, okay? But eventually, it's going to turn cold, okay? And that's just the way it works. That's how random works. This is what random looks like, okay? So when you look at this, there's only 9 numbers here, okay? So it can't stay hot forever, not with all these other numbers combined with it, okay? So with the lottery, nothing can stay hot or nothing can stay cold forever. Okay, so it's just a matter of trying to predict when this is going to be hot or cold and trying to guess correctly. Okay, so my first guess here is option card number 1 here, no purple numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the purple numbers, and as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot. Okay, then they went a little cold, but now they're hot again, and now I just think that there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, and a 0 means that none of the winning Powerball numbers will come up in this area, I hope. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all the numbers here in this purple area off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce this back down a little bit. And I'm going to scroll to the left now. Okay, so you can see underneath group 2, option card number 1, no purple numbers. So you can see that there's nothing here anymore. Okay, so when I go back over, you can see that there was the 13 that was left. Okay, so it's off to my next pick. Okay, and my next pick is going to be option card number 5, no orange numbers. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well. And I used all the same colors as well. Red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so they all look the same, but the numbers that they represent are just a little bit different from each other. Okay, so here in group 1, you can see the red numbers go up and down. Okay, 1 to 57. And over here for option card number 2, you can see the red numbers go side to side, 1 to 8, okay, or 66. So again, my next pick is option card number 5, no orange numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the orange. Okay, so as I go down through, you see that everything's been 50, 50, 50, 50, but I just think that there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. Okay, so I guess I kind of screwed that up. It's option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's number 4, and here's the yellow right here. And here's the stats for the yellow. You can see that things got really hot. Now I think it's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I believe the next one is option card number 5. No orange numbers. Sorry about that. I kind of jumped the gun there. Okay, so as I go back to option card number 5, you can see that these are the orange areas that I took off the board. Okay, so my next one is going to be option card number 11, no blue numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 11 out of 15, and here's the blue area. Okay, so as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot here, and now I think they're going to cool off a little bit. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so one more pick. And that's option card number 11, no orange numbers. So again, here's the stats for the orange. And as I head down through, you can see that things have been a little hot, a little cold. But I just think that there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. All right, so if I made all the correct picks, and and that's the key word here is if. All right, if I made all the correct picks, then the 5 white winning Powerballs should land within these numbers that are still left on the board. Okay, so hopefully I made all the picks, correct picks for myself. All right, so now it's time to pinpoint what numbers I think will be coming up. Okay, so when I first started this, I reduced the numbers down to 10, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10 numbers that were still left on the board. Okay, so that's when I said to myself that I really think that I have something here. Okay, but I only picked 2 correct. All right, so that's when I came up with this next strategy. Okay, and that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to predict what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is this number right here, this 253. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far. And that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 253 drawings, 129 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 124 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think the majority of the numbers will be even. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5-white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent at least 3 even numbers. Okay, so over here I have high and low. Okay, the red is high, the blue is low. Okay, so even though the 65 and 67 and 66 are high numbers, they're in the low side of things. So if those come up, I record them as low numbers. So it only matters on how you record them in the stats. Okay, so for this one, you can see that there's been 124 of the majority to the high side and 129 for the majority to the low side. Okay, and then I have left and right here. Okay, so there's been 126 to the majority to the left side and 127 to the majority of the right side. So for this drawing here, I'm not really going to take a guess at this high and low. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Okay, but I will here. I think there's going to be more to the right side than the left side. Okay, one more thing that I have is this red and blue. Okay, so you can see that the red has majority 144 drawings to 109 drawings. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think that the majority of the numbers will land in this blue area. Okay, so I do have something for the Powerball itself. Okay, so this is that red number right here. Okay, so in this column here, if you see a blue number, that means that it's a low. Okay, so I should tell you that there's 26 total red numbers. All right, so if you see a blue number, that means that it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so in this column over here, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. And if you see a blue number, that means it's evens. Okay, so for me, I just like looking at colors. Okay, so now instead of looking at the numbers or whatever, now I just look at the colors and try to predict what color it's going to be. Okay, so for me, I think that this is going to be a red number. Okay, and I think that this is going to be a red number as well. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be a high odd number. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right again. You can see the 50-50 picks. I think the majority will be even numbers. I think the majority will be to the right side over here. And I think the majority will be to this blue area here. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to use group 2 for now. Okay, so as I go back to group 2 here, again, there's 15 of these option cards. All right, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so what that means is that there's 15 red areas, okay, 15 blue areas, 15 orange areas, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of that as a group. Okay, so I keep that right here. I call it the Group 2 overview. And I'm going to get to that right here. So this is what the Group 2 overview looks like. All right, so here in those red areas, the last drawing had 6 hits and 9 misses throughout those 15 option cards. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. Okay, so if there's 8 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so now it's back to the color thing again, where I like to look at colors and try to guess what color this is going to be next. Okay, so for me, I think that this red area will have a lot of hits to it. And I actually think the orange area will have a lot of hits to it as well. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, My guess is that there's going to be lots of hits in that red and orange areas of group 2. Okay, so how this works is that this represents option card number 1 all the way down to option card 15. Okay, so you can see when I go back to group 2, option card number 1, the red areas are right here, and the orange areas are right here, 3 down to the 59. So you can see that there's no numbers left on the board, so I put a 0. And over here, you can see that there's the 11, the 19, the 51, and the 67. So I wrote those over here. Okay, so I'll do one more for you. Option card number 2, you can see that the red areas is 1 through 66, and the orange is 17 through 24. So you can see that the 4 and the 6 are left in that red area. So I wrote that down here. And over here for the orange, it's the 19, 23, 24, and 67. And you can see that I wrote that right here. Okay, so this is what all 15 option cards look like. All right, so now it's off to the final strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 4, the 6, the 23, the 24, and the 67. Okay, so you can see that the majority is even numbers. Okay, you can see that the majority is over here to the right side, and you can see that the majority is to that blue area right here. Okay, so with this combination, I thought there was going to be 4 colors with the color code. Okay, so you can see that the 4 is green, the 6 is red, the 23 is green, and the 24 is orange, okay? And the 67 is purple. So that will give me that 4 colors that I'm looking for. Okay, so I also thought it was going to be either 3 groups or 5 groups in the individual numbers. And you can see that the 4 and the 6 is in one group, and the 23 and 24 is in another, and the 67 is in another for 3 groups. Okay, so also with the red area here, with this combination of numbers, that will come out to 8 hits, 7 misses within that red area. And then the orange, it will come out 9 hits, 6 misses in that orange area. Okay, so as I go back to the group 2 overview, again, I think that this is going to be an 8, and I think that this is going to be a 7. And since it's 8 or more hits, I'm going to be coloring it red. Whoops. Like so. Okay, so I'm hoping that that's what it will look like. All right, so I just want to give you a visual of things, and we'll see what happens. So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 4, 6, 23, 24, and 67. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, so again, what I'm looking to do is build a community where people share their picks using my game/system. Okay, so if you're interested in using my game and would like to meet others using my game to share picks, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay, so if you'd like to send me any feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I really appreciate you watching. If you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. Okay, and the jackpot's getting huge, so I want to wish everybody the best of luck with their picks. All right, again, thanks for watching.